Hi guys, welcome to the channel today. Today in today's video we're going over incantations, we're going over internal alchemy, Qigong, we're going over words, numbers, symbols, letters, everything to integrate to start and end your day, to draw you closer to a realization where you can manifest, heal, and create magic instantaneously. And it all has to do with the practice of your own energetics, and your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. We go over all those things throughout the podcast, delving deeper into different aspects of it so you have a greater understanding as it's day 2 of January 2024. And on top of that, stay to the end of the podcast where you will be given a hand seal and an energetic practice to amplify your middle and upper dantian and have it expressed and realized through the exercise itself. So enjoy the video. The truth, once embedded, can never be stripped away. The truth, once established, can never be uprooted. A sacrifice to a higher cause is never lost. An offering to an ancestor never goes to waste. When a person embodies Tao, his heart becomes true. When a family embodies Tao, it thrives. When a village embodies Tao, it is protected. When a country embodies Tao, it prospers. When the world embodies Tao, it reveals its perfection. Tao is everywhere. It has become everything. To truly see it, one must see it as it has revealed itself. In a person, see it as a person. In a family, see it as a family. In a country, see it as the country. In the world, see it as the world. How have I come to know all of this? Tao has shown me. Tao is all of this. Realize when you look into the mirror, the reflection of your form that you see as your human offering is nothing more than a facet of the diamond of consciousness, the Tao of all things. All is one, one is all. Beyond the beyond. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. Happy day 2 of the premature new year.
Happy day.
Happy day. And I'm your humble servant and Sifu Taoist Master San Quinn. And we are almost there. We celebrate all things. We appreciate all things. And we accept all things. And so with that, we have a new year that's almost a new year from our perspective. But as it stands, the rippling effect of the consciousness of a collective simulates a response throughout the ether. And within this, you are experiencing a shift of change. This is where people have a turning point to realize how profound the opportunity for change is just by a different mindset. That's it. Different mindset. That's all. That's all it takes. And with that mindset, you generate a result. It's as simple as, think it and it becomes your reality. And with that, all things are altered. And this happens collectively. I had a friend of mine who had a situation with, her mother being given this terminal, short-lived reality due to her complications. And, as it stands on a higher level, people come and go through this, lifetime. And then they go on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I feel like there's a level of dismissal that needs to be understood, because it's not about, oh, well, you're eternal, so whatever. Let's just burn out. Well, YOLO it, man. YOLO. No. There's a greater appreciation for this humanness, and not to dismiss it because you have another one. Understand the appreciation of all things. And so today we're going to go a little bit more into the mechanics of, what we spoke of yesterday, which was starting off a new year. And then, a lot of people are like, I'm feeling aware, I'm feeling conscious, I feel like I could potentially access something greater. I've seen a glimpse. I thought about someone and they turned up. I had a moment where these images were coming in and they were verified by another event that took place to make it real to me in this 3D reality. Yeah, that's right, that chill. And so, what are the mechanics? We teach the mechanics, we teach the inner workings, the understanding. We use baselines like the Way 126, which is so powerful as a fundamental way to access a baseline so you can develop all your skills, because everyone has the ability to. There tends to be this consensus due to how you form your reality, that you're given gifts and you stay with those gifts and they're the reality, and there's only so many things that can take place. This is not my, from my experience over 30 years doing this is not the truth, in my opinion. It's very limited because it starts and ends with you. So, for example, this person I'm talking about, I gave them a little seed of understanding of just connecting with our higher self, connecting with the person that they were, needed to help. Of course, I sprinkled some fairy dust on it, but strangely enough, they were given this terminal limitation of, they're not going to make it. And, surprisingly, doctors and all the rest of it, the following day, after they just gave them a terminal outcome, were like, what the hell is going on here? This person literally rose up from the dead and started interacting, having a completely different, expression of, what seemed to be the end of the road, but wasn't at all. Because you tune into these things so quickly. And so dimensional-wise, we have dimensions. All dimensions are variable. None are, trapped or limited by anything more than your perception. So how you develop these skills. This is why you look at, hypnotists, therapists, neuro-linguistic programming, all these entry levels of consciousness. You're just dipping into someone else's abilities and helping them evoke them, right? And so, understanding how fast you can shift into it is something that is the validation of what we talk about, the truth, right? Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. And so these mechanisms are key out-of-body experiences are a great way to start, but it doesn't just stay out there, because you're really going inside. You're not going outside. People are like, what? Steve, what do you mean? You're actually exploring within you, not outside of you, because consciousness is all things. And so this is where it gets really interesting. You know, you start with the mechanics of what we talked about yesterday. You know, you do your little bit of exercise, you do your spiritual training, you do your hot and cold climatizing and training within moving the chi, and then, you know, we're now starting to pepper in, you know, how powerful attention intention is, adding the construct in your DNA, words, letters, numbers, symbols. They're all integrated deep within the DNA. This is expressed through that. So understand that, and you will start to realize, holy moly, profound things will start taking place, and you gravitate to them. You have a general understanding. You know, we recently did a channel on this Thoth character that keeps, you know, attempting to get in my ear. I had a conversation with Latsu. He said, you know, channel him. Anyway, the outcome was there's a lot of people in this community that don't want this information kind of like out there. So, you know, people begging and pleading for me to remove a message from what I honestly, personally, not a fan of that energy at all. So, due to a consensus of these people running scared, paranoid, not understanding the deeper layer when you start playing with these dimensional shifts, and then the entities are a plethora of infinite amount of energy, frequency, vibration, and it's all played upon your perception, either being all is one, one is all, or being separated as you sort of perceive your reality as a duality.
Mm-hmm.
And so this energy, I've never, you know, other than him coming in and because I have the ability, being a little bit more in train with this sensory perception, he's coming and knocking on my door telling me, hey, look, I got a message. And quite frankly, that message was pretty sobering, to say the least. Not an energy I would want to entertain, but a greater understanding is the psyop of this particular process. It's kind of like how all of a sudden you don't understand how you get caught up in this greater psyop when it comes to people peddling information, and you're just absorbing it within your environment. And what does that mean, Sifu? Well, let me just put it this way. You're moving through your reality. You don't know how it happened, but you don't think about it. But next minute, you know, intuitively, and this is the classic struggle of a human being, right? I have this need. I don't feel good about myself. I really don't feel good about myself. I need to go. It's a new year. I'm going to start the new year. I'm going to put out the attention, intention, affirmation, incantation. I am going to change. Oh, yeah. I'm going to change. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to get a better job. I'm going to do da. And, you know, you'll be 6 days into a new year as it's coming up, as it's, you know, what we perceive as a new year. And all of a sudden, you're back to your old behavior. And this goes back to understanding, you know, where are we? Are we operating 100% conscious, or are we operating in these lower percentages? 5% here, 95% there, which was a general consensus. This is what we speak of, right? So, you know, this type of stuff really, you know, when you start to understand that free will in of itself is up to you. What do you mean? Well, I have free will. You do. But if you start to realize that your free will is not stronger than the compelling feeling, thought, feeling, and emotion that is generating you to go, it's 6 days in, I think I'm going to go get myself a beer, an Oreo cookie, go back to my old habits and start watching Netflix. Because this is a fractal pattern that we speak of. The cowlick at the top of your head, observing everything from a macro, micro level. All these energetic components are all integrated into your simulation. And it comes from past generations, it comes from your natural born experience right now. But you have the option, that's why we talk about the 72-hour challenge, where start accepting and allowing all things. Wu Wei, effortless action. When you start to do that, one leads into another. It bleeds out. It's like, oh, well, what does that mean? Someone comes up to you and says, let's go bungee jumping. And you're like, I've got a fear of heights. And you dismiss the fear of heights and you go, you know, what the heck? I need to change my behavior. And you go bungee jumping, and all of a sudden, you have a different perceived reality. It happens that quickly. And that's a conscious effort. That's your conscious will. But then if you go, hey, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and 6 days into a new year, you're back to the same behavior, you didn't believe what you were saying. You didn't access the ability within yourself to affect the change that's necessary so that you implement this reality, right? Simple as that. All it takes is that. So if we go with the model 5%, 95%, that can be altered at will. That's why we talk about brain waves. That's why we talk about the wave 126. You access a brain wave that gives you the ability to be completely conscious, to change your programming from your natural born life. So when you have this compelling need to want to eat a Oreo cookie, even though you're consciously saying, no, I don't want to, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, and your will diminishes every second of every minute due to the fact you don't believe it. And so you have these, you know, compelling moments where you get motivated by certain people. And they're like, man, I need to hear this person. I'm going to go to this motivational speaker, and it psychs me up. Be very clear. These people are motivated in one category of their reality, and then they diminish in all these other categories. So, you know, grass is always greener on the other side, yet you still need to access it. You have the ability to. We talked about that yesterday. You get up on the other side of the bed, you brush your teeth a different way. You're changing your behavior consciously all the time. Go against the grain, and you'll be surprised. Because it only takes one moment to accept and allow something, and then it becomes greater. And all of a sudden, from, you know, how we teach people, Jade and I, the accept and allow, 24, 48, 72 hours, your life becomes effortless and drama-free, and you're like, hang on a second, what's going on? It doesn't, I don't get why I don't have the continual arguments with friends and family, neighbors. I don't get why my life is just flowing all of a sudden. Something that I desired within my heart and my mind I created is just handed to me. This is what we call Wu Wei, effortless action. So it just sort of plops right in my lap, and you're like, how is that possible? What happened that made it so easy for me? Because you're not, the resistance part. Sifu, you said go against the grain. How does that contradict what you're saying before? There is a stagnation, right? So if everything's energy, if you work on removing the energy stagnation within your physical body, which is all a representation of the vehicle that holds your spirit, your soul, your energetics, this is relevant, right? Do you want to flow? Do you want to connect? Do you want the highest expression of that? That comes from a fluidity. That comes from the Wu Wei, effortless action. So these types of things are easily acquired at a micro level to a macro level. You just need to be conscious of it. Simple as that.
And realize that everything is a choice.
Right.
And you have the ability to choose. You can say, no, I don't want the cookie. And I'm going to listen to this little voice telling me not to versus a voice telling me, no, 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 eat it, yum, 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 yum.
Right, right. No, that's a great point, Jade. And you have this physical, compelling sort of like desire. Your mind, the old expression, my head says one thing, my heart says another. And this is what we talk about. And that's why the way is so powerful. It affects you, a visual, audible experience, creating the kinesthetic charge that's the validator. The feeling is the validator. This is what we speak on. So now you're like, okay, yesterday I was implementing these things. Now we need to use attention, intention. You're using the physicality. You're using the hot and cold temperature. You're using, your energetic practice. Now you wake up and you go to sleep with a certain intention. Create a framework around what you are achieving, what you're going to achieve, with the words, symbols, numbers, letters, things that integrate, that you feel within yourself. Start the day that way, end the day that way. And trust me, the gap between the morning and evening will start to get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer, just with your implementation of that.
Yeah. And it's just, even just your intention is so powerful when it comes to wanting to change, wanting to adjust your mindset, wanting to create your mindset.
Right, right. So don't be limited by it. Just like my friend had this diagnosis, she chose to have a different viewpoint, and through the attention, intention, syncing with her friends and family, she literally facilitated, a healing.
Mm-hmm.
And the vitals, everything of her mother changed dramatically, instantaneously. And you're like, whoa. Well, that's how it works. That's like, there's no lag time. We're moving faster than the speed of light. Understand this, know this to be true. So when you're doing these things, you want to acquire instantly, as it should be. If destruction is instantaneous, healing is instantaneous. Your seed of creation, thought, feeling, and emotion, that is evoked, and it responds equally. So don't have, and how you progress with your manifestation, how you progress with your healing, how you progress with your magic, will start with the foundation of your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with, which is what we go over and over and over. And when you understand that, so the access point to higher dimensions that are validated start with micro expressions to a macro expression, because you want to get your feet wet. How do you want to do? You get your feet well. You want to swim down that shallow end of the pool to start with, right? So you create manifestations that are small, that are nonchalant. The need of your emotional content is absent. That's really how you acquire this higher level. And so if you just go, yeah, I need this now, it will materialize. If you go, I need this now because I need my rent, I got to get it paid, there's definitely an emotional content that is framed around this. Mm-hmm. And so you're now attempting to control that flow with an anchor of your emotional content. Does this make sense? So there's going to be variables, and if you're not in tune with it and you don't feel it, there will be variables that will control and limit the response. Does this make sense? Right? So you need to realize that type of quick access comes with your attention intention. Morning evening, this is a starting point, and your willpower will get closer. So from when you say that this will happen to it materialize, it will get shorter and shorter and shorter until you validate it. The confirmation is you. It's not coming from anywhere else. It's not what I think. It's not what Jade thinks. It's what you believe in that determines the outcome of these types of manifestations, healings, all this kind of stuff. Now, because I teach Qigong, we teach Qigong, you get to learn how to transmit these frequencies equally in all dimensions. I understand all dimensions are operating at once. You're all operating at once. It's all happening. And that you can quickly access these things equally. That's how you affect the 3D with a higher dimensional shift, because you're able to access it and it transmutes into this realm. And that comes with a healing. It comes with magic manifestation. So that type of framework starts. So you're shifting. Most people talk about OBEs. You got to get out of your body. You have to be paralyzed to some degree. Your body is non-functioning. This is a viewpoint. Is it the only way to access this stuff? Absolutely not. It's a training, and once you become more efficient at it, you can do it with your eyes open, as I do, as Jade does, as many people that I train have started to access this ability because it's available to you. And, most of the time people will shut down information that's coming through constantly because they're in their head. If you're thinking, you're not knowing. If you're knowing, you're feeling. This is the simplicity of what we speak of.
Yeah, I mean, it's always about the feeling. Just like you said, I'm going to not think about how afraid I am to go bungee jumping. I'm just going to go. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to have a new experience. I'm going to let all of that dismissal go. And then, most of the time you ask the person, have you ever been before? And they're like, no. I say, well, how do you know you're afraid of it? You've never even tried it. You've never done it. You've never even experienced it. But, this idea in your head and the thoughts in your head, and that just runs the whole ship until you actually try it. Then make a decision. Base it off of the feeling. Right.
Now, here's an interesting one I'm going to go over is when you're doing sensory perception, like, for example, people love to get psychic readings, auras, things of that nature. Your attention intention is most powerful. The biggest misconception, fallacy, whatever you want to call it, when you're reading an aura, information comes in. It's much easier on a macro level to see that. So, well, Sifu, I need it to be what was my realization was the second that I stepped back from attempting, because it was an attempting, and that's when the clear senses really turn on. Everything is attention, intention, absolutely, but you have to have something tangible to validate that. So, when I shift things, like, there is a tangible internal mechanism that is very, very real. So when I think about something to create an outcome, so say, for example, someone goes, Grandma's sick. I don't really care who Grandma is because I am the universe, right? I don't need to know her name. Sure, give me her name, whatever. Doesn't matter where she is. This is the step-by-step realization once you activate your energetic body. So someone comes to me, Mr. Y has Mrs. X who's sick on the other side of the world and they need a healing. Okay, cool. That's it. Now I'm the universe. You don't even have to go that far. I don't even need to know that person's name, because when you accept all things are as one, the separation is identifying title, right? So what happens there? What happens next, Sifu? Someone comes to you. I instantly tune in. I am the tuning fork. This is through preparation and training. I don't have to sit down for 4 hours, go on a fast, do all these weird things with the lotus position, incense, candles. No, this is the training that is within my energetic body that is expressed instantaneously. Go time is now. It's not like let me call in my guides, guardians, and angels, and I'll eventually get some response to a greater expression by a healing if we all sit around and sing Kumbaya, and I get my guardians and angels to tell me this is okay to do. First and foremost, if you're the universe, you are me, I am you. There's no separation. So they come in, they say that. What takes place in my screen, just to give you an example of this, a little dry run, is the image of the person then transmutes into really a Xerox copy, right? And then their expression of their whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, it turns into colors, right? And so all I'm doing now is tuning that person, place, or thing to this to take that color and amplify it so it is of the highest expression of light, frequency, vibration, and it turns into a transmutation of platinum, gold, and silver, right? And so it is materialized instantly. And so what do I feel? What do I see? So that's where it starts. Someone goes, I need a healing, I need this, or I'm witnessing something. We talked about this, real world, battle-tested stuff. Someone hurts themselves, you got to stop blood, you got to heal flesh, whatever it is. You can see it materialize before your very eyes. Yeah, the shiver, the shake, the bomb, bomb, bomb. This is materialized. And so it's not a, let me get ready, work it out. I am tuned to that. I am tuned to, I am the universe instantaneously, right? It happens before my very eyes. Someone comes to me with a situation, a physical problem, whatever. And so then you get instantly, boom, the Xerox copy of place, person, or thing, and then the color that is expressing itself in currently within the universe. And then all I do is put attention, intention, and, audibly, inaudibly, you're now putting that in. Now, this is attunement. And so as I continue to attune, the transmutation of that color starts to, it's almost like looking at a screen, like a screen door of, your house, one of those screen doors where the, your, a mosquito net type of thing. And so what happens is, as you continue to just use that, and we use specific techniques, breath, and so Qigong is moving energy with your mind. You become really, like if I, what happens for me on a daily basis is I have nothing in my head. What? That sounds absurd. That sounds ridiculous. No, it's pretty empty up there. Pretty empty. But what happens is, the second I put my attention, intention, whether it's information from Lao-Tzu, the Three Pure Ones, one of my teachers, or I'm having someone coming to me in this 3D reality, it instantly puts an image on a stage that is pitch black, and the image is very clear. So there's no obstruction. I'm not thinking about whether I'm going to go and get Chick-fil-A or hang out with the boys later or play some Xbox. No, it's like just complete black. And then the second it's engaged with whatever, if it's a spirit, energy, whatever, it immediately comes on this stage of blackness and it's materialized in whatever form, whether I'm speaking to a spirit in this realm, they are represented physically as tangible as I see Jade here, or if it's something that is that I have to experience outside of what is my my peripheral view in this space, it starts to materialize at a much deeper layer that goes beyond the walls, the ceiling, everything else, and it comes in with my eyes open in this sort of form. So now we have this screen, and so it's being affected by whatever color it's representing, and it has other variables, letters, symbols, numbers. It's all taking place as we speak. And all I do is put my attention, intention, because I am the universe, and then the screen starts to light up, right? And all of a sudden, holy moly, the brighter it gets, it starts to transmute into platinum, gold, and silver. And I'll make the relevance of that in a moment. And as it emulates more and more and more, we use specific incantations inaudibly, audibly. We are raising that vibration. It's being expressed through this. When I'm talking about it, you feel the chill. You know what's going on. And it's crazy, man. It is crazy as anything. And voila, the end result is all of a sudden, my goodness, pain's gone away, healing's happened, manifestation, blah, 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 whatever it is. It happens that quickly, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies. Do not be dissuaded by anything. But you need to, and I say but, you need to create the foundation internally. And this is where a lot of people are sort of fly-by-nights. They want to go and get all this stuff, and they want to be the psychic, they want to be the medium, they want to be the channeler, they want to be all these things. Only they can't it's not repeatable consistently, because they don't have a specific processes that can validate it. And your confirmation is the only confirmation you need to be concerned with. Understand this, know this to be true. Make it very clear. Our Qigong training is second to none. Our internal alchemy is second to none. And so what happens there? What is going on with you, Sifu? So I'm seeing this stuff. What else is happening? Well, my whole energetic body is amplified. So I feel this dense, palpable energy from head to toe. And this area of my upper dantian is like, it's so pliable. It is like, putty. What? What are you talking about? It literally is like putty. So when you speak on something, you say something, and I'm in this state, a state of consciousness is what we call this. You can feel the gears shifting in my upper dantian as we shift to other dimensions, as there's a manifestation taking place, magic taking place, healing taking place. When someone asks me to do something, we have rituals. We go through the training. But now at this point, I've been doing this 30 years. As I always tell you, you bridge the gap between, beginning and end of all things. And as it gets closer and closer and closer, the ability to access that becomes faster. It shouldn't be, oh, well, I've been doing this 30 years. It takes me a while. I got to warm up. There's a process. It takes about half an hour to an hour. No, anything you do in this realm of like internal alchemy from a Taoist perspective, it will get faster and faster and faster and faster and faster to like you think it and it becomes realized. What? So that means that, and I'm reminded of this with my teachers every day. Think it, healing is instant. Think it, manifestation is instant. Think it, magic is instant. And what does it do? What does it affect? It affects a place, person, or thing. Energy, spirit, or God. Matter, chi, or spirit. Booyah.
Can you ever heal someone too much?
No. Look, people will have, miracles take place all the time. You can attune to it where they're at in their own reality. You will show them a physical healing. And that sometimes at this point, with the amount of reps that I have in this, and realize this, you can be materialized at the level or degree of my understanding and development instantaneously. There are no exceptions to the rule. The rule is none. There is no rule. So if you listen to this stuff and you're jiving with what I'm saying, and all of a sudden there's an evoking of your internal alchemy just from my words alone, due to the fact of your incarnation in this realm and past lives, all bringing it all together, you will be realized instantaneously. From a neurological perspective, your mirror neurons are speaking to you. You're just like, hang on a second, the old icebreaker, the 4-minute mile. Once someone did one time, all of a sudden, the world record turned into something that was being broken, every week after that. And people around the globe were able to obtain this 4-minute mile due to their belief system. That's it. Understand this. But understand that the development, in my opinion, is necessary because as a human being, you want to start and end things. You need this hetero action that we speak of. And if it's not taking place and things are not pliable, it becomes, exhausting. So understand that as you ascend, the energy gets more dense. It doesn't get lighter. Oh my goodness, it's so light. Yeah. Now, if you're having a moment where you materialize a manifestation, healing, or magic, and you didn't feel it, it's because you are a master. It's like a blip. It comes that concentrated. So when someone says something to me, that's the course of action. There's a blank stage before me. Everything drops away, and the object, place, person, or thing is present in front of me, and it is in a sort of like a Xerox copy, and it's expressing itself in a certain color, and other things, words, letters, numbers are being expressed from it. And as I put my intention to it, it's like this grid comes out. It's really a grid, yeah. It's a grid that comes out behind the place, person, or thing. And as I amplify my intention, because once you set that seed, it's done. Equal to or greater than. You can sit around, you can watch it take place, or you can go about your business. It's happening, baby, because that's where I've come to my realization of this stuff, where I'm at through my development. That's why you validate it. That's why you confirm it. That's why you get a situation where your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. And the more you do it, the more you realize it, the more it becomes real to you, and that's your validation. And so, boom, boom, boom. And I literally can watch it. I can watch, a physical transformation before my very eyes. I can look at it from a distance. Someone's on the other side of the world, and it materializes. I know it's happening when it's happening, and it's tangible to me. So this shifts. This is like pliable. It's like, holy crap, the whole concept of separation of the brain in of itself is where people get caught up. It's like left brain, right brain, blah, blah. You get caught up. That's why I make it keep it simple, silly. You make it really simple, because if you're more childlike and you accept things at face value, it's all bets are off. The more you are an information seeker, and you have to keep finding, I like this, and I want to do that, and I like that, and I want to do that. This is fine. How are you validating all this access, all this pile of information you got? You got piles of it. How is it expressing itself in your reality? This is where you confirm it's, is it real to you or not? Because it's either expressing itself through your very confirmation, or it's not. And that comes from the duality. So then we have this mechanism of shift. And so now my whole body is amplified, very similar to the vibrational shift that takes place when you're leaving your physical body, OBE, astral plane projection. Only this has just happened. I got some reps up in here. They call me the Sifu for a reason, because it was materialized instantaneously many, many decades ago. And that's just me recognizing who I am in a past life, bringing it forward, and it's realized here. That's fine. And that can happen for you right now, too, listening to me saying this. So you get this palpability that is undeniable. And it's like you shift into it, and it is dense, it is thick. And so when that happens, these are the mechanisms that take place. And when I train people in this type of stuff, you create this ecosystem, this architecture within your physical body that is palpable. That means you can put your intention to moving the energy any way you want within it, being the maestro of the 50 trillion cells that are the representation of your physical body, and then it's being expressed through that.
Now, what do you say to people who are like, I'm afraid if it happens that quickly, what if I think something bad? Or
Right.
what if I have like a negative thought or a negative manifestation or fear that comes up? Will that happen as quickly as, the healing, the magic, the manifestation?
Generally speaking, when you're operating in this 3D reality, you're not going. The architecture I speak of becomes more acquired as you continually expand. When you think and you're stuck in a duality, you think negative thoughts, it keeps you very contracted. And so you stay very much in this 3D reality. They will materialize. Look, don't be twisted. If you continually obsess over certain things, it will become materialized. You just have a little bit more leeway in this 3D reality that, it can happen slowly. But understand that if you get in tune, and your confirmation is really everything. So, you want to keep thinking, bad things are going to happen. Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. This is why I always say that's the baseline. And so then how you manifest will be, I can replicate it because this person cut me off. I'm super angry. You're a master manifester. You manifested your emotion instantaneously. That state was realized. So understand that it will only become realized through your validation and your truth. And you will get confirmations of these things, and you will start to take baby steps walking through it. What is realized? The more you ascend, the higher the consciousness. There's just those lower frequencies, the emotional state that I speak of, that we always say you can put the emotions down here and have them, beg for forgiveness, can be realized real fast, can be realized instantaneously. So you put the emotions aside, and then you're able to express yourself in a higher level. And so that, again, is a palpable mastery. So first and foremost, you know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. The second you hear this, Jade asking the question, you are now shifting your whole processes. Because you're like, well, I didn't know that until now. Oh, now I know that. Now you've put that into your repertoire, so it's now a different thing. Oh, I'm feeling this way. I don't need that. And so the manifestation component goes either way. It's up to you. What do you believe in? If you believe that when you walk under a ladder and good things are going to happen to you, that's exactly what's going to happen. If you believe you walk under a ladder and bad things are going to happen to you, that's exactly what's going to happen. And all we do within these ancient Taoist techniques is master this stuff at a much finer level so that you are able to know exactly when that's taking place. It's not like a fly-by-night, variable that you can't possibly have a knowing, because the knowing is the key to all things.
Yeah. It's like filtering out like sand or something, or like rocks in the sand. You start getting different filtrations the more you do this, where it's like you can be more refined and then more refined and then more refined, almost to a point where it's just it's like a powder. It's so fine, it's so finely tuned, it's so finely milled and refined that it's like there isn't a single thing in there that that is a lower vibrational energy, a little rock, a little pebble that might have slipped through. It's so finely tuned that every single little piece is at that high vibration that it's just like, it's like butter, it's like silk.
Right. And so that becomes,
And that's a training.
because we're moving at light speed. So there's zero reason why everything that you want to generate in this 3D reality from a high consciousness is instantaneous. There's no exceptions to the rule. There is no rule.
Yeah.
That is the rule. The rule is there is no rule. So you, the where you get to in your own belief system is how fast you are. Boom, you're done. You're ready. You're tangible, man. And so this internal alchemy is critical to the end result. Critical. This is why we train people in Nigong and Qigong. Move energy with your breath, move energy with your mind. These are the fundamentals of how the universe is expressed through Taoism. And these are techniques that are thousands and thousands of years old. And they're pliable. You can talk to anyone that's in the category of Nigong training, and it's pliable. Most people tend to stay within the yang energy, and they become very limited. They're not really expressing the yin energy, which is high intuition, spirit worlds, things of that nature. I am not an anomaly, but, you know, from a man's perspective, generally speaking, you would start with the yang and maybe move into yin. Yin was always the highest frequency for me, and I expressed it immediately. That comes from my past lives, the last, you know,
Yes, you're
108.
You're a unicorn.
Well, everything is trainable. Everything is accessible. Normally, if someone just straight out of the box, a male exercising energetics will get a huge surge instantaneously through just the practices I teach them, and they're like, holy crap, the energy. But then to transfer to more intuitive training takes a process, so you just move through it, and that veil will be revealed, that veil will be removed, and their expression of that will be shown by their own training, and it'll be instantaneous, right? But generally speaking, there's a processes. As for a woman's expression, out of the box, they're instantly intuitive. They're highly yin. And there's variables of all these things. And so you tuning them into a more palpable energetic level takes a little bit. You're expressing through emotional content that goes higher than that ascension of just virtue in of itself, and they're able to access, you know, psychic abilities of and sensory perceptions of that nature very quickly, mediumship, channeling, all that stuff. And so then we need to now, okay, how do I make that repeatable? Then we integrate the yang into their practice, and then it becomes more palpable, and it's the culmination of the two merging, you know, conscious and unconscious, and making it as one. That's really how it works. And man, millions of people have done it before us. We're just replicating ancient practices that are thousands of years old, and they're being realized in this realm. And that comes from the validation, your expression. So this is really important, the palpability. You want it to be repeatable. You want to wake up and go to sleep. There's one thing that I constantly am reminded of whenever in decades of doing this. The one consensus that is greater than all things is everyone always says the same thing. All the people that I've worked with, thousands of people over the years. Just when I thought the energy could only get so high, it gets even higher. And that's because, you know, the old expression, it can't be destroyed or created. Sure, it's always there. You just need to have a repeatable realization that it is tangible to you. And once that happens, and you really use your attention, intention to move it any way you want, being the master, the maestro of the 50 trillion cells that is a representation of your physical body, this is where that energy is then being palpated and moved in any direction you want. It's not just, a fly-by-night idea, because it's reinforced through your validation. That's how it works. So you need to be able to express it. You need it to be palpable, tangible. And when you see that, boom, all things are realized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's imprinted too at a level where it's like, I'm sure you could take anyone at this point and say, if I gave you a pen and a piece of paper and I told you to close your eyes and draw your signature, anyone could do it.
Right.
And then I said, okay, now open your eyes, now draw your signature. It would look exactly the same. You've done it so many times.
Right.
You don't need that sense to be able to do it.
Right.
You've imprinted that motion and movement. You can see it with your eyes closed and realize, okay, it's imprinted. I know what it looks like. I know how it feels. I know the movement. This is the same type of thing. The more you do it, that validation, that feeling, it gets imprinted, and you just begin to start replicating it more and more and more with more senses or less senses. It's within you now.
Yeah. And, getting back to that aura reading stuff, we have a system. But on a bigger level, I came across someone who was like, hey, let me teach you how to read auras. I would say that would be very frustrating for a lot of people, the way that it was described, because they're fixated on something. But what happens is, when you become more conscious, you're all things. You're highly conscious and you're highly pliable, you're highly creative. This was training someone to stay in a beta brainwave state, which makes them highly hyper-focused on one thing, and then it doesn't materialize. Because when you're the universe, you're all things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So take that and digest that for a minute, because the disappointment of that particular practice would be quite high, because they'll be looking at it and it's not happening, and it's frustrating, and it's continually repeating itself that way. So know that to be something that you need to be aware of. We want you to make it pliable and repeatable and tangible. And that tangibility comes from accessing that energetic architecture. And so until it's validated by you, it means nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you can easily take what I was talking about where that person was describing it, and it could activate immediately. There are no exceptions. From my experience, in the way that it's framed, it's going to limit someone's ability to access it, not expand them. And this all has to do with many different mechanisms, but let me just put it that way. It's the way this person is offering it as an expression of that. And that's how it becomes limited for most people, and they are not able to do that. And it comes down to little words, numbers, symbols, letters, and how you are presented this information is how easy it is or how hard it is, depending upon whether you are all things or you are, in the duality, which is probably 99% of people start there. And you know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. You start there. That's it. Mm-hmm. Starting in there, right? It's
like food, or like the perfect chef. They always say there's 4 components to creating the perfect dish. There's, acidity, spice, sweetness, and trying to think of the last one. Anyways, there's one more that's like a taste. And when you add all of these together in the right kind of ratio and the thing, you just get these flavor explosions. And they use that to still be creative in creating, dishes or foods or cocktails. But they have this little formula of adding a component of each of these. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like when you add the right components, whether it's the brain waves, whether it's the energetics, into that right state, it just explodes and you have these amazing experiences, whether it's an out-of-body experience, a manifestation, something that validates for yourself. But like you said, when you have these moments where it's like, you know, if I just drench everything in lemon juice, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm not going to taste anything else but that. And it's going to be so kind of overpowering that my experience is going to be lost within that. So when you're, you know, trying to do aura readings or something else like that, but it's in a brainwave state that isn't necessarily congruent with wanting to move, like be successful at that, you're going to feel frustrated, or you're going to feel like, how come this person can manifest and I tried their technique and it doesn't work? And it's like, well, there's a few other little components that are possibly missing or over compensated for, where that balance isn't quite right. And when you do hit it though, you'll feel it, that tangibility, everything we've been talking about will align, and you'll be like, that's the perfect combination.
And so always realize, if you're listening to any of our stuff, doing any of our stuff, you're driving the Pinto, the Lambo is in construction immediately under the hood. It's happening. There are so many different layers of incredible imprinting and training that are taking place through osmosis, just through hearing us, doing whatever app, whatever it is. It's happening. And so your Lambo is getting stronger and stronger. Even though you think you're driving around a Pinto, the Mr. Miyagi effect is being materialized.
Right.
That means that all of a sudden, when you have to apply it at the wet ass hour, battle tested, it will be realized instantaneously. You will be able to measure it.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that was really good. Hand seal of the day is quite simple. That's a new one, right? So hand seal of the day is this right here. Now, when you turn that on, see?
I know. I was looking at the inside of your hands too.
Right. Now, instantly, it creates a charge.
Yeah.
And so you start to feel it in your hands, up your arms. Ultimately, this is evoking more access to your upper dantian and several of those chambers. And so if you just then take your tongue and put it on the roof of your mouth, right, you'll get a quick surge that goes straight up to the upper dantian, which makes you highly conscious, right? So this hand seal, very quickly, you're accessing all things. And you can use this at all time. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to keep that there and increase the amplitude. Okay, this is a very ancient Jade Emperor hand seal. And now, if you now take your hands apart and you just kind of move it around and you do this and you play cowboy fingers or whatever you want, notice the subtlety of the density that has taken place just in your hands alone, right? And so sort of tilt them back and forth, holy moly. Now, with that hand seal, to evoke that upper dantian, make yourself highly conscious, and then once you've done that hand seal, you can pull it away and Jade Emperor, immediate access, right? Drop your finger between these two fingers here, thumb, and right. Now you feel a surge up your Taiji pole, and then you sort of create the figure eight, and this will drop the energy into the middle dantian. And the chill that goes up and down through your whole body is just part of accessing all things the Wu Ji. And so you've got upper dantian Wu Ji. You are highly pliable right now. And so once you've done that, you can do the figure eight with this hand seal 9 times. And then now you're sort of like supercharged. You're feeling, holy crap, there's a chill going through my body, chill going through my hands. Because upper, middle dantian is on. This is all about high ascension level, and there's many gateways to many things, but this first realization is you accessing this energetic component through the hand seal. And so it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So now what we're going to do, any closing words from Jade before we close out here today? Thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Yeah, no, I'm just enjoying this.
Right. So what we're going to do for you and the audience is you've got the hand seal. You've then evoked it with the Jade Empress hand seal, right? This one here. And then you're doing this. And I mean, it's kind of crazy because now you're creating this access point. It's another portal, whole different ballgame. These are like sample test drives. The relevance to accessing the upper and middle dantian are quite evident for OGs, people that have used our stuff before. But let's just say if you're new to the channel and you're experiencing this and you're like, holy crap, this is instantaneous. You bet your ass it is. And so now with that energy, it's like you turned on the flux capacitor of the DeLorean, and woo, it's on. So now we're going to use respiration, which is Qigong, and we're going to amplify that, right? So there'll be a short breath in through the nose, through the mouth. And this is now in tuned to the upper and middle dantian, and it's going to finally seed in the lower dantian and express itself with the final technique. So you're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And I mean, just saying that, you're getting the charge already through your whole body, which is kind of crazy, right? So now we're going to do that 9 times, and at the end, you're going to hold it, but it's going to be a lot longer. It's going to be 18 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, and realize that expression after we finish that. Are you ready? Okay. Close your eyes, open your eyes, however you choose to, and go. In. And last one. Hold it. 18, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh, yeah. And, understanding this with this amplitude of energy. Now I'm going to just go to your upper dantian. I'm going to turn that over, that energy, this huge phosphorus white light, culmination of platinum, gold, and silver, and I'm going to turn it over like dough. We're going to just turn it in clockwise fashion, counterclockwise fashion, and then I'm going to express it, and you can enjoy that. People at home, here in the audience, oh, yeah. And that rippling effect is that interconnection. He's breathing, and I'm feeling it through my whole body like a tuning fork. You betcha you are. Because that's part of the entanglement, the interconnection we speak of on all layers and all levels we are realized. And with that said, I want to thank my divine, delectable co-host, Jade. I want to thank you, the audience, for sharing your time with us today. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn, and I will see you on the next one, guys.